Good morning, friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are here in the new Terraced Gardens, and you can see behind me, yes, my friends, we have the great beginnings of a wonderful retaining wall here on the Terraced Gardens. So exciting. So we have been working this week on the Terraced Gardens, and it is coming along quite nicely. The goal today is to get this wall finished, and we've got a little bit of grading to do here in this back corner. So we're going to kind of take you along for the ride, and yeah, so here we go. We are in North Carolina, Zone 8A, and end of August, I guess when this airs, it'll actually be the beginning of September. And we, like so much of the country, are under a heat wave this week. Yesterday it was 99. We were 1 degree away from setting a record. It's been hot this week. Last week we were doing the sod, and it was cool and it was dry and it was lovely. This week the summer temperatures and humidity have returned, and dear heavens, we are dying. So that is why we are out here at 7 o'clock in the morning, because this spot is full sun. So we're trying to get as much work done in the morning and then basically kind of call it a day around noon, 1 o'clock, because it just gets so incredibly hot. So that has kind of been our MO for this week, and you can see that we're definitely in a construction mode around here. We've got all the equipment. We had the Clemson tent trying to give a little shade, but yeah, we are getting there and making some great progress. So just to recap on everything, we are creating we're calling this the terrace garden, because essentially it is terraced, right? So we have what is our cottage garden. This is where the garden boxes are. Hydrangea Hill is up here, and then you can just see the roof of the chicken coop. Very much a steep slope through here. So we are creating essentially a patio area right here, where we're gonna have 5 garden boxes from Vigo, and super excited about this. Part of that, though, includes retaining walls, because this is such a slope. This is the biggest of the retaining walls here along the back. Then we'll have permeable pavers right here, and then just a nice low wall on the back side of the cottage garden, just to kind of tie in this whole space. Andrew spent the other day, I don't even know what days these are anymore, but of course the first layer, the first course, is the most important, because it has to be perfectly level. And basically that first course is buried, and so you can see it here all the way. This is the first course down here, right? So you can just see the top of it, and essentially when the pavers come through, you're not even going to see that. These, all our products are from Belgard, and you can see how nice and tall these are. I think they're either 6 or 8 inches tall. So that is how much is buried down in there. So of course we have a nice gravel trench. You saw us the other day when we were doing that. So Jerry was digging the trench with the Bobcat, came through with what we call washed stone to create that nice firm layer. And then essentially it took Andrew by himself essentially a day to get this first course done, because you have to make sure it is perfectly level in all directions. It stays perfectly straight, and man, he nailed it. When I was sitting on the wall yesterday and I was looking down the wall, I was like, man, that is a beautiful wall. It is straight every which way, right? So it is absolutely gorgeous. Now, once you get the first layer on, then it really does kind of go fast from there, other than just having to haul all the stone over here, because they weigh a pretty penny. And so put them up and then get them all in line. So that's what Jerry and Andrew are working on right now on the corner. So they're kind of over there working on some stuff. But basically you lay them down, and then the wall has these ridges in it, and you put the pins in. So there's actually like fiberglass pins that are down in here, and then those pins drop down and lock into the layer below. So when you come over here, like it's locked, right? So they are in, they are not going anywhere. So that's how you kind of connect them. And you can there are some areas that have some glue down. So we also have glue between the layers. Now, This is going to have to be, it's very interesting because of the grade. This far left corner is our highest grade. So you can kind of see the difference where the wall is versus where the natural soil line is. And there's quite a bit of difference right here. We are going to go up 2 more courses. So that means, right, so 2 layers of the wall here will be up here. So wherever that may be. So we're going to get those 2 courses down. That's what Jerry and Andrea were doing right now, is starting those courses. Once that second course is up on top, we're going to see where our grade is. Now, these roses of Sharon right here are coming out because that's where the steps are. So this was always the plan, that they are coming out. I really don't want to take out the last firelight hydrangea. So we're going to kind of play around with that, see where the courses are. And then these guys, the roses of Sharon, are coming out. And if Jerry needs to come in here and grade some, he can, but we need those courses up first, so when he brings down some of the soil, it holds it back. So that's the plan right now. Yesterday, when we were on the layer, I remember if it was, I forget which layer it was that we did this, it all starts to run together and the heat gets to you and you're just like, at some point we did it, I'm not really sure when. Maybe 2 courses down. We put what's called geofab, and geofab is this webbing, this netting. You can see it right here, but you lay it down so it actually, like on this course, right? Let's say we were going to put it on this course. So you lay it on the block up to here, and you lay it right to the point where you can't see it. So wherever it is, you can't see it because you don't want, obviously you don't want little fringes hanging out of your wall. So it comes right here, and then it lays flat, and then it goes all the way back up to the soil. You go ahead and put your next course on, and as you're doing that, you're putting the block on top of the geofab, and then of course with the pins, you lock it in. Once that geofab is laid down and it goes the entire length of this wall, then you come back with more of the washed stone. And so the idea is all that's holding it together. You don't want the wall to come forward. We want the wall to stay nice and straight for years and years and years to come. So that helps in short. And that way we're not going crazy tall. So at some point when it gets to be a certain height, you have to do engineering and all that to make sure that the wall doesn't collapse. Also, I forgot to mention, before we did all of that, there is a drain. So the black corrugated pipe that is perforated, so it has holes all in it. It has like a sock over it. You can actually see it right here sticking out. So this drain runs the entire length, this pipe runs the entire length behind the wall. There is washed stone below it. There is washed stone above it. So any water that comes off of this wall is going to hit the washed stone, go through the stone, hit the pipe, and then we're going to take that pipe and shoot it out somewhere. Because we have, probably in the driveway, because we have a drain there, so we'll connect it to that drain. But I told the fellas yesterday, I was like, we are not going to have a drainage issue because look at all of this washed stone. And when I say it's washed stone, it means it literally is just gravel. There's no fines in it. It is just this gravel as Brenna is inspecting it for me. And so there's no little particles in it. It is literally just the stone. So when water comes through it, it goes straight down. It won't run over the rocks. It goes straight down. So we have got, y'all, we basically have almost a whole truckload of washed stone behind this entire wall. So from the natural grade and even a little bit below this, all the way up on this side is nothing but stone. You can see Jerry was starting to bring down the soil. So at this point, there's no more gravel that's going to go down. We'll bring the natural soil on top of the gravel. So that way Jenny can plant right in here. So you can see they were getting that, the next course going. So with this wall, it is like there is no pattern. It's just random. So you don't want it to be matchy-matchy. You want it to be completely random. So maybe you have two small pieces right beside each other, and then you have a big, and then you have a medium. Like, it doesn't matter. You just want to have the randomness of the wall right there. So the way that they go together is on one side, right? So they kind of fit together like a puzzle. So, but then you have flat sides together. So you have the puzzle and then flat, the puzzle and then flat. So you just twist the blocks back and forth so that they fit. Obviously here on the corners, you overlap. So where on this corner, you have a big piece that goes this way. So then on the next course, you will have a big piece that goes this way. So that way it locks in your corners. Right now, this is looking like this is going to be the length of the wall on this side, because obviously the grade is not very high right here. And we're going to backfill with soil up to this point. And we're going to, you know, like stair step it down. And then everybody's going to get a cap on it. But this will be filled in, backfilled with soil so we can plant there. But that's all that it does. And then we'll have either pavers that go through here, or it'll be a natural area. But if you remember my bench, right, my unique stone bench that we had sitting up underneath the crepe myrtle, I'm thinking this is going to be the perfect spot for my bench to go, because this stays in the shade the longest during the day. So it'd be a great little spot to have the bench and sitting right there. Yeah. And then on the other end, we do have where we started out. I think we're gonna, it's as far out as it's going to go, but we're going to bring in just a couple more blocks so that it's not quite so severe. So we're going to bring in a block to maybe right here. So that'll be one stair step. And then the next two courses we'll slowly bring it in. So that way it has a nice gradual, even, you know, stair step down. But I was thinking last night, I was like, oh, you know what? I wasn't planning on this because I wasn't thinking about it. But on the ends of each of the walls, that's a perfect little spot to put a container. More gardens. So that's very exciting. So the plan for today is to finish the wall, obviously, work on this grade right here, get that all figured out, probably end up going ahead and having to take these hibiscus out. If any hibiscus stays, it would be the very last one. Go ahead and take them out. We are keeping them, so I need to get them repotted into a container until it's time to plant them. They're gonna go in this back corner somewhere, but that's gonna be a while before they get planted. So we're gonna finish the wall, get the grade right, and go ahead and start thinking about where the lighting is gonna go on the wall. Because of course you have to run electrical, and we have caps that go on the wall that finish it, and you can't glue the caps down until you know where your lighting is going to go, because you have to have an electrical line. So a lot of little logistics in here, and then we'll see what time it is, we'll see what the sun looks like, and we'll just go from there. But progress is being made, and we're super, super excited about it. right, friends, we are making great progress. It is about, I think, like 10:45 in the morning or so, close to 11, and the back wall is complete. All of the courses are on, the caps are on. They're not glued. I'll explain why in a minute, but they are on. All the cuts are made. So this is what it will look like when it's, quote, 100% done. So it looks great. Jerry was able to go ahead and get the grade correct on the slope. Obviously, we're gonna fill in here. I think he wanted to add a little bit more gravel down here because you can see where it's kind of low. We still have a good bit of wall as far as like right in here. So I think he wanted to add some gravel here, especially here on the corner. So he got a little ahead of himself. So we're gonna have to come in and get some of this soil out right here, add some gravel, and then come back in with the soil. So we will then backfill all of this with soil, so it'll have a nice slope and come basically, you know, underneath the cap. So we're not going to have it completely even because you know how life is, and it'll get filled in. So we're going to kind of stop it about right there, and so there you go. He did go ahead and begin, I don't know how it's going to show up on the camera, but kind of started doing some terraced spaces here for the steps. It looks like Brenna has found a critter underneath the hinoki over there. But anyway, so that's where the steps up to the chicken coop will go. Andrew got all of the caps laid on. Of course, the caps are going to be like, you know, the finishing touch. It makes everything nice and smooth. We're not gluing them on now because we have to put our landscape lighting under here. So we will have cap lighting. So that means that the landscape lighting will come underneath. So it actually will sit on the wall, and you'll have a little cap, and it's under here, and then the light goes down. So we will have to, you know, run the electrical behind and then know where the lights will be. Once we know where the lights are, we can go ahead and glue all the caps except for the ones where the lights are going to be. But it's not any big deal as far as not gluing them right now, just because there's not a structural, you know, reason that we have to do that. Stair stepped everybody down. So this is, you know, this is going to be the final wall right here. So there you go. And then on the other side, got that done as well. And you can see that where Jackson is on this side. So the sun is coming out. We're starting to get a little toasty here. We're staying nice and hydrated. Of course, all of this back here will be backfilled with soil. So all of this will be planting area. So we can do gardens all the way through here, whatever I want to do. The idea is right now is that I'm going to take all of the Edge of Night hibiscus that are here. I probably will go ahead and dig that one up and then basically kind of fill in somehow in here and design that and put them in a mass grouping kind of on this corner. And then of course we'll do some sort of something over here to help kind of fill in the gap of the green giant. Now, what we're doing now is that you saw Jerry go ahead and dig out the trench for the wall that will go here on the side of the steps, right? So the steps are staying, the shape is staying the same. So we're leaving all the form in there so we don't have to worry about it. But then the wall will go down the side of the steps, and then of course, obviously it'll go on the other side of the steps too. We're supposed to get, there's chances of rain, so we don't want to open up that side, because it is a Friday afternoon, well, Friday. We can probably get this kind of taken care of, hopefully today. We will grab the old tiger tent and put it over. So we'll do the same thing. You first start with gravel, you use your gravel, nice solid base, and then you build from there. So the wall beside the steps will come here, 90-degree angle, and then follow the yellow line all the way down. So we want to get the steps done first, because that way it makes sure that we know exactly where the wall is supposed to be. So that is kind of the update. Oh yeah, so we did hit, which we knew that all the irrigation for the gardens runs right through here. And we know that it's a straight line running with the cottage garden. We just weren't quite sure on the exact location. Jerry found it, which is actually a good thing. So you can see here, it was right behind the steps. And so there are 3, I don't know, is that a 1-inch PVC running through here? And then there is the electrical line too, I guess, for whatever, for the parts of the irrigation. So we went ahead and cut here. So what we'll have to do is, obviously it just goes straight. So we'll cut it on this end too. And then once all the block is, we know where that's gonna go, then we will reroute it. So we may, I don't know exactly. That's to be figured out. But we did find the irrigation. So there you go for that. All right. So we're just gonna kind of keep on moving. Hopefully we can get this base in today. My friends, we're about to call it quits here for today. It is a Friday. It's, oh gosh, I don't know what time it is. It is 2:15 in the afternoon. Quite toasty right here. And yeah, so it is a Friday, so we're getting ready to call it quits. Andrew wanted to kind of play around with the steps as far as one of the walls that goes up the side of the steps. So we will take a look at that in just a second. Then Jackson is blowing off the top of the wall for any soil that got put up there, any rocks, and Jerry came in and got it pretty much level. I'm sure there'll be a little bit of fine tuning that we have to do to make sure that it is perfectly level, because we want to get it as level as we can so that we don't have water kind of collecting in certain areas. Even though we're having the permeable pavers, right, and that water's going to go down, we just don't want to have, you know, super low spots. You want to do the best that you can. So the wall is good. He did come back through, and because we're expecting possible rain showers this weekend, and put kind of a border of rock, and he's going to go ahead and kind of smoothen it out, because you may have noticed that we have red clay. That is our native soil. People are like, oh my gosh, do you filter that? Like, you know, on the camera? No, we don't enhance the color at all. This really is what the color is. And if you have red clay or been exposed to red clay, you know that red clay stains. And once it gets on something, it does not come off. I don't want my beautiful brand new wall to have a lovely orange ombre stain going from the bottom up. So that's why we're putting down the gravel. So if it does rain, we don't get any kind of splatter. I would love some rain because the garden needs it, but also for the patio, I don't want it to rain because drier is better when we're working on this. So the Lord provides either way. So he knows a lot better than I do. So working on that, making sure that we can try to keep the wall as clean as we can. Now, here is where Andrew was working. So basically the wall is the side of the steps are going to keep the exact same footprint of these steps here. So you can see that they've already put down some gravel, using that as the base, and then he went through and just put in, just kind of playing around, and put the very first block in there just to play with it. So we're going to follow the rise of the current steps, and so it'll go in, it'll go up, and up all the way. Thinking 3 courses on this. So of course the first course is just your good foundation, you won't even see it. Then the second course basically will get us even with the wood that is there. The wood's not staying, it's just holding everything back. Once they build the wall, this was screwed in so they can take the screws and pull it out. So those timbers are not staying there, but it's just holding everything back while we get these side walls built. And then one more layer to give us a little bit of that kind of nooked in feeling. So there'll be 3 courses that go up. Remember, we've got to add one more step at the top because of just, yeah, we've got to add one more step up there. There was something else that I was going to tell you and it just completely flew out of my mind. I do not remember. People were asking about drainage. Yes, basically, like I told you, there's a big French drain that runs the entire length of that one. And then when we come up, and because the side walls, right, they'll come up 90-degree angle, and then the wall will go that way. We will have between the patio, the permeable pavers, and the next wall, there will be a French drain along there as well. So just trying to collect as much water as we can. So because this is just a notorious area for coming down and flooding, not flooding, but like washing, and we don't want that. So try to collect that water and send it out where we want it to go. While we are doing all this construction, and when I say while, I mean from now up until sometime late this fall, I'm going to rework the cottage garden because there is a lot of these plants have been in here from the very beginning of the garden. Like my daylilies are just massive. They need to get divided, or if I want to put them somewhere else. So I want to rework this bed with the plants. And irrigation, of course, is off. Obviously, we sliced through it today. So there's no irrigation going. So like some of the annuals, you know, they're on the struggle bus. The perennials, yeah, they're struggling, but they'll be fine. The root systems are okay. So the plants that are staying are definitely going to be the Amsonia, then the Baptisia that's back there, Princess Anne, and then there is another Baptisia over here and an Amsonia. Those are the ones that for sure are staying where they are. We are not going to dig them up. We're not going to move them. They are staying put. Everything else is fair game. So it either is going to get dug up, divided, and then replanted somewhere in the garden, or it's going to get dug up and moved somewhere else. So the fall is perfect time to do that. You don't have to worry about it. It will be a great time to do it. And so the irrigation also will get reworked at the same time. This is all on drip. You can see the brown tubing. So I'm not worried about that the brown tubing irrigation is getting all messed up. I told Jerry I want to rework it anyway once we get the cottage garden all replanted and good to go. So yeah, it has been a great week's worth of work. We're all tired. We are done with the heat and the humidity. I tell you what, I'm going under some shade, so you may see my glow, I don't know. Anyway, we're going in the shade. It is hot, it is humid, and we are all soaking wet with our sweat glistens, but it has been a great week's work, and so we'll continue on this. Next week is supposed to be a lot cooler, maybe a little bit of rain, so we'll see how it goes. As always, we hope you found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Y'all have an amazing day. See you in the next video. Bye, friends.